Small businesses are going through the most horrendous times, in particular the last few months, the length and breadth of this country. Cafes, restaurants, pubs and family hotels are closing at an alarming rate, hundreds I may say, already this year. Businesses the length and breadth of the island are pleading for help in an effective way, but to date it has gone unheeded by government. Last week you said that you intend to help small business by providing grants, advice and mentoring. Grants may help, but for these businesses, some in operation for decades, advice and mentoring is an insult to their intelligence. Last week, in the front page of West Cork Southern Star, a national campaign to reduce the VAT rate was launched by businesses throughout West Cork. This campaign, called VAT 9 Now, is run by Jamie Budd of Bud's Restaurant Ballydehob in West Cork, Peter Shannon of the Fish Basket Longstrand, Gavin Moore of Monks Lane Timoleague, Aisling O'Leary and Forbes Kelly of Revell Clonakilty, and Vic Sprake and Deborah Nicueve of Camas Farm outside Clonakilty. This campaign is gaining support from hospitality businesses all over the country. Taoiseach, VAT returned to 13.5% for the hospitality and tourism industry from 9% in September 2023, even though I and others pleaded to your government at that time and before that it would have devastating consequences for important businesses in every town and village in Ireland. This destructive increase with spiralling energy costs combined with food and minimum wage increase are bringing already tight margins for these businesses to the point of being unviable. Businesses are saying for months now that the government do not realise with the VAT increase of nearly double, plus all other costs associated in running a business, energy costs which no one has control of, and the minimum wage which no one expects to decrease, but the government have control of the VAT rate, and to immediately drop it back to 9% is the call, because if you don't, more and more of these businesses are going to go under throughout the country. One of these business people in this group that I mentioned a while ago said it is a hugely testing time for the sector. Our margins are at breaking point. It is so disheartening because we love what we do, but we can't be busy fools. We worked long hours through Easter, and having paid everything out, there is little left. These businesses, Taoiseach, pay rent, rates, electricity bills, water bills, wastewater bills, waste bills, wages, suppliers, maintenance, insurance bills, and most damaging, the VAT bill. Taoiseach, these cafe, restaurant and pub and family hotel owners are asking the question is how many of these businesses have to close before Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Greens government will wake up and understand the crisis they are in. Surely ye at the top are not so disconnected that you have no idea what is going on in the ground. Are your backbenchers, TDs and senators telling you anything? Taoiseach, a straight up question. On behalf of this VAT 9 action group in West Cork, which has gone national, will you support the VAT rate to return to 9% from 13.5% this week, thus giving these businesses a small boost before the summer season, a boost that may see them survive? Anything else coming from you today will be devastating for these businesses.
Collins, Taoiseach, please.
Thanks very much. Thanks to Deputy Collins for raising the important matter in relation to small businesses, and particularly referencing a number in what we call the hospitality sector, I guess, cafes, restaurants, pubs and others that I fully accept have been struggling to absorb significant costs and have been operating in an environment of high inflation, of rising costs, and a number of, I suppose, charges that have come at them all at once. And when I talk to many of them across the country, it's not that they believe any of the initiatives are bad. In fact, they want to do well by their workers, by their employees. It helps them retain staff. It's good to, the key to a good business is looking after your workforce. But at the same time, they're trying to make ends meet, and I do acknowledge that, and I do want to work with them and with like-minded deputies in this House to see how we can do that. Our newly appointed Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment, Peter Burke, is looking at a whole range of ways in which we can try and support businesses, small businesses in particular, but also, most importantly, I think, in terms of how we can try and provide them with certainty as to what the next number of years look like, because I certainly have heard that very clearly, as have my colleagues. They want to know, are we going to get hit with more costs? So I think trying to provide them with certainty as to what the next few years look like is quite important. I would say to you, Deputy Collins, we have already a scheme in place, €250 million. You'll know it, the cost of business scheme, and that €250 million is currently being given out. Today, we believe 34,000 businesses will have now applied, but there's about 140,000, little more, businesses in Ireland that could benefit from this. So I'd encourage every member of this House to please get the message out in your constituency. To any business, you can apply for this grant. It's easy to apply for, low on bureaucracy, very little paperwork, and let's get money immediately immediately into the bank accounts of small businesses across Ireland. We've also kept in place the VAT cuts in relation to gas and electricity, and indeed increased the VAT threshold level, which has again helped many small businesses. And Minister Burke is also working on an energy efficiency grant that we think will significantly help businesses with the cost of energy as well. You did specifically, Deputy Collins, raise the issue of the VAT rate, and it is truthful of me to say, and it is a factual position, that issues around VAT and tax rates in general are matters that are considered in the budget. They remain issues that we will continue to consider, and government will make decisions in relation to all tax and spending matters in the budget. But we will not wait till the budget to act to help small business. So to anyone watching this today, watching into these proceedings, particularly a small business owner, there are over 100,000 businesses eligible today for financial support from the government. Please apply, let us get that money in your bank account, and please know over the next couple of weeks we'll be working to put more measures in place, but also crucially working to provide policy certainty, as to what the next few years look like in terms of the cost of doing business in Ireland.
Thank you for your reply. And you says you fully accept it, but the unfortunate situation is the VAT. And the VAT is the problem here. And you don't seem to understand that since the VAT has gone up, restaurants and cafes all over the country are shutting down. Bang, bang, door after door after door. You do not grasp the crisis here. On your election as Taoiseach last week, I listened carefully to see, were you going to be different? Or were you just going to be something of what we've had before? Lowering the VAT rate is where you could have shone out, and you didn't. Other than promises, we got nothing, meaning more of the same. How many cosy cafes, neighbourhood restaurants, pubs will close before the penny drops? And how will our towns and villages look with more shuttered premises? You have to lower the VAT rate now and not kick the can down the road to October. This will not do, Minister, or Taoiseach. This new group will protest in relation to the VAT, and it's not down, as I promised you, Taoiseach, this is not just a West Cork protest, it is a national protest. So again, I ask you, Taoiseach, are you going to lower the VAT rate from 13.5% to 9% today? Will you announce that today? And if not, your government will face wipeout in the upcoming elections. I promise you that, because the people are angry. They're shutting their doors, they're fighting to create employment, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their income, and these employees are losing their jobs, and they're furious out there all over throughout the country, wherever they go.
So the people will decide the outcome of the elections, not your utterances in the Dáil, Deputy Collins, and I'd never be so arrogant as to tell the people what they're going to do in an election. Maybe you shouldn't either. I think it's not helpful to come at this from the suggestion that there's one way of helping business, and if you don't do this way, you don't care at all. I mean, that's overly simplistic, and to be quite frank, if anybody understands the importance of balancing the books, doing a budget, living within your budget, it's businesses. The government has to work like that as well. The government produces a budget in this House each year. The budget is then voted upon by members of this House, and then the country lives within its budget. We've done that. It's provided economic certainty to business. It's provided a situation where we have full employment. It's provided a situation where we've been able to set surpluses aside. And it's provided a situation where we can provide €250 million of assistance to small businesses in Ireland today. And Ceann Comhairle, it's worth saying in this House today, 140,000 are eligible. Only 34,000 or thereabouts have applied so far. We need everybody who's eligible to get this money in their bank account. The government is looking to give you financial assistance. And the government is saying we won't stop there. We're going to do more around energy efficiency. We've increased the VAT threshold. We've left the gas and electricity VAT cuts in place for the time being. And we're looking at how we can provide certainty. Because the big thing I hear from small businesses is wanting to know what next in terms of cost. Is there more coming at me? And I want to assure them that this government will only pursue policies now in the weeks and months ahead that will support small businesses and their viability.
Thank you, Taoiseach. That